What's up everyone, Coach MccDann here. Today's workout is intended to focus on the neutral state for characters from the Brawler archetype, providing specific details on how players can focus on maintaining their own space with actionable moves, as well as how to go about pushing their character to their fullest potential in a neutral situation. So with that being said, let's lock in and get started. For our warm-up, we're going to put an emphasis on one of the many aspects of neutral, that being bait and punishing. Play any character from the Brawler archetype, and fight a random CPU with a difficulty you're comfortable with, and we're going to focus on specifically reacting to the actions the CPU makes before we respond with some type of attack. Shield when necessary, but don't forget the main concept of reacting to the CPU's aggression. We will be focusing on other aspects of neutral throughout this workout. Neutral state tends to vary in intensity and pacing throughout each character matchup throughout the game, and neutral state with Brawlers is no exception. As we've gone over in previous lessons, Brawler characters seemingly have no glaring strengths or weaknesses, in accordance to their character's capabilities. Each character is well-rounded and great choices for understanding a very fundamental form of gameplay in Smash Bros. So when we focus on the neutral state with characters from the Brawler archetype, it's best to observe how other top-level players play neutral with your character to get an idea of how exactly to go about playing neutral yourself. Characters vary in terms of special abilities as well as unique aerial and grounded attacks that work best for their neutral concepts, such as bait and punishing, overshooting or overextending, and poking. Some players like to call this the rock paper scissors method of playing neutral, and applies to every archetype in the game, and it is just as prominent with Brawler characters. Brawler archetype characters follow a similar trend with their attacks by being very quick and typically chained together in most cases, so when maintaining a certain lead in stocks or percentage, you'll want to ensure you practice patience by reinforcing the three different methods we just went over: bait and punishing, overextending, and poking. With Brawlers, you'll want to make sure your approaches are intentional. Part of poking an opponent involves you using your character's quickest and safest actionable moves to force a reaction out of your opponent that isn't even necessary if they have a lead. So let's focus on an exercise that can help you practice this type of playstyle. For this exercise, play 3 games online, or with a friend or family member offline. And when fighting in a game, begin to focus on poking with your character's best aerial attack, usually one that has good range or is a multi-hit, and intentionally force a reaction out of your opponent. This is a formality of play that is difficult to practice against CPUs, as they typically focus on poking with aerials themselves, and are very specifically reaction-based. So this is best practiced against real opponents. This could be done by running in with this option, and after hitting your opponent's shield, backing away to see how they respond. While Brawler characters have exceptional normal attacks, some also have very consistent special abilities to help accumulate chip damage on their opponent, as well as lead into other attacks that require a closer range to be executed while your opponent is in hit stun from your projectile. While these projectiles are not at the forefront of the Brawler character's play, they almost certainly play a significant role in each character's playstyle. Some other characters have reflectors, which are also best utilized in passive play, especially if you know that your opponent plays in an overly aggressive playstyle. This is something that you can apply at higher percentages for even more aggressive punishments, but this is still very situational. Typically, if you find that your opponent is waiting for some type of option from you instead of giving you these interactions, however, one way to play against the reactive type of playstyle is to overshoot an attack that can be done by seeing what type of actions your opponent makes that are habitual, and punishing them upon landing with a grab, dash attack, or even catching them with an option your character has that leads them into a combo chain. So with that being said, let's dive into our scrim with purpose that will focus on improving this aspect as well. For our scrim, we're going to make use of our opponent's habits. For 3 to 5 games, begin to focus on punishing your opponent's attacks by overshooting with the options mentioned before, that being an aerial with close range, or one with a multi-hit. Taking the time to practice all 3 of these different formalities of play will help you understand more specifically about how your Brawler archetype character plays, and provides the type of neutral playstyle your opponent might apply in their fight against you as well. This is Coach MccDann. Hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and until next time.